Trump extorted Ukraine.
Correct.
Since that's why he got impeached.
Correct.
Didn't he get?
We can go through it if you like right now. Would you like to?
Hold on. You think gender and no? Let's have this conversation.
Okay.
You think gender and sex are different things?
Correct.
I don't think they are.
Okay. Do you agree with me though that he should be in prison for this?
For this specifically?
Yes, this specifically.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Hello?
Hi.
How's it been, man? So
Going all right.
some of your political opinions are decent, but I still think a lot of your opinions are kind of stupid. So
All right, can you give me one?
give me an example, because I don't really remember everything you said. I just react to
Like-
chat. So
Today, or what do you mean?
I'm just talking about today, like what I've been in here. I've been in here for like maybe an hour at this point. So give me
1
something.
second.
Why don't you like Trump? How about let's start with that? I'll initiate the conversation. Why do you hate Trump so much? What's the problem with Trump? Why do you hate our president?
Well, because
Because why?
for a lot of reasons, but I would say one of the biggest ones is going to be how he handled the Ukraine situation, where he extorted Ukraine to try and investigate a political rival when he didn't have a basis for that, for the intelligence that he claimed to have had, so he could get an advantage in the election.
Yeah, but we've been funding Ukraine for, I'm pretty sure we were probably one of the first people, if not some of the first people, to fund Ukraine. So I think we have the right to strong arm them, like they say, and take their minerals, right? We deserve a mineral deal.
Sorry, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking
What
about
are you
Trump's
talking about?
impeachment.
Oh, his impeachment? Okay, so what about his impeachment?
Yeah, so Trump tried to extort.
Yes,
Trump tried
he's
to
a
extort
criminal.
Ukraine so they would investigate Joe Biden when he had his intelligence community telling him that the information was likely coming from Russian assets. Rudy Giuliani specifically ignored these comments from the intelligence community to try and pursue them, so that way he could get an advantage in the election.
Is that true? I don't think that's true.
It is true. That led to his impeachment.
Trump extorted Ukraine.
Correct.
Since that's why he got impeached.
Correct.
I don't think that's true. Didn't he get?
We can go through it if you like right now. Would you like to?
Hold on. Yeah. Go ahead. Trump Ukraine scandal. Go ahead. Teach me something about it. 2019 December 3rd. What is this?
Yeah, Trump Ukraine scandal. If you want to go through the Wikipedia, we can.
I'm on Wikipedia right now.
Yeah, sure.
I don't trust I don't trust Wikipedia. Don't let these weirdos say that I trust Wikipedia, but
well, I have no issue going through Wikipedia, because a lot of this information I have separately verified. But so I personally don't have as much of an issue. So under the Trump Ukraine scandal was a political scandal that arose primarily from the discovery President Donald Trump's attempt. Well, I'm sorry. Do you want to say something?
No, I'm reading it. I'm reading it with you. Go ahead.
Okay. Attempt to coerce Ukraine into investigating his political rival Joe Biden, and thus potentially damage Biden's campaign for the 2020 Democratic presidential nomination. Trump enlisted surrogates in and outside of his administration, including his personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, and Attorney General William Barr, to pressure Ukraine and other governments to cooperate in supporting and legitimizing the Biden-Ukraine conspiracy theory. This is the Hunter Biden laptop stuff, and the other conspiracy theories concerning U.S. politics. Trump blocked payments of congressionally mandated $400 million military aid package, which is illegal. He can't do that. In an attempt to obtain a quid pro quo cooperation from the Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, contacts were established between the White House and the government of Ukraine, culminating in a call between Zelensky and them. And then it goes into
July 25th, 2019.
Correct. And then the next paragraph is also really important, so I'd like to read that if you got.
You can go.
Okay.
Go
Trump
ahead.
released the aid only after becoming aware of a whistleblower complaint before the complaint was known by Congress or the public, meaning that Trump became aware of a whistleblower about, trying to signal the public and Congress, hey, like, this guy, he's trying to, it's called impound funds. He's trying to impound funds. And Trump, and hearing that whistleblower, tried to release the funds ahead of it. Trying to be like, hey, I wasn't holding up the funds. The scandal reached public attention in mid-September 2019 due to a whistleblower complaint made in August. The complaint raised concerns about Trump using powers to solicit foreign electoral intervention in the 2020 election. The White House corroborated allegations raised by the whistleblower. A transcript of the Trump-Zelensky call confirmed Trump requested investigations into Joe Biden and his son Hunter Biden, as well as a conspiracy theory involving the Democratic National Committee server, while urging Zelensky to work with Giuliani and Barr on this.
Okay, so you're saying that Trump embezzled funds and he's doing fraud as the billionaires usually do.
No, what I'm saying is there was congressionally approved funding that it is illegal for the executive to hold up. It's called impoundment, right? It is illegal for the president to do this. But not only did he hold this up, he held this up so that way he could have Zelensky investigate a political rival, Joe Biden, on charges that, and it later goes into the Wikipedia, that he had beyond a reasonable, most of his intelligence community telling him they were illegitimate. This was not a investigation that had any actual factual grounding. So he hears from his intelligence. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like, what are you getting at right now? Are you saying that Trump is a fraud? Is he a criminal?
Trump attempted to influence the 2020 presidential election by extorting an ally, Ukraine, with congressionally approved funding illegally.
So how did he extort the votes? Let's say, like how did he extort that?
The votes?
The votes. How did he extort?
Oh, yeah. So the idea was a investigation into Hunter Biden and Joe Biden in connection to Ukraine would influence the election, because obviously if there's like a really big scandal, and even without
people are going to vote for the person who they think is better. Yeah.
Right. And even without this, you remember Hunter Biden and that whole scandal, right? You remember, I know you do, right?
Yeah,
so even without this investigation, it was like, it made news. So imagine an official investigation from the government of Ukraine. It would have made it bigger. And that's what Donald Trump and Rudy Giuliani wanted.
Okay, so Trump's a fraud, is what you're saying.
Not only is Trump a fraud, he attempted to pressure an ally with funding that was democratically approved in order to get an advantage to influence the election.
Okay, so
I think this should be grounds for this guy be illegal for this guy not only to hold any political office, he should be in prison for this.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's actually a decent statement. You're actually you're really onto something with this one. But at the same time, we have to admit that some of the laws he passed were decent laws. This I didn't know about, and I'll give you that. This is crazy. I didn't know about this. I heard about the Biden stuff and whatever, but
we can talk about other stuff. Do you agree with me though that he should be in prison for this?
For this specifically?
Yes, this specifically. Yeah,
probably.
I think if Biden tried to extort an ally to investigate Donald Trump to get an influence on an election with congressionally backed funding, I would hope that man is in irons. That man should not. That man should be in prison.
That's kind of messed up. That's pretty bad.
Okay,
and he shouldn't do that.
Yeah. Okay.
You shouldn't take advantage of the system, right? We both agree with this, right?
Yeah. You can't do something illegal to give yourself a political advantage. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you can't do that. Yeah, but at the same time, some of the things that Trump has done in this term has been like pretty good, right?
Like what?
Or am I just? I mean,
No, I'm
I don't
sure
know if
there's
I'm allowed
some
to say
things that
it.
I could maybe break bread on. I think the vast majority of it is bad, but can you give me an example?
I don't know if I'm allowed to say it on your stream. I don't want to get nobody in trouble, right?
Well, as long as it's not a slur, you can say whatever you like.
All right, so I think that the two sex thing is pretty cool. I like that. I'm okay with that. The coming out of the Ukraine
Wait, the two
for a
sex
couple of
thing? Are you
days,
saying that trying to say that there's only two sexes?
there are only two sexes. Let's be honest.
Well, the okay. So are you referring to in contrast to intersex?
No, like there's only two genders. That's what I'm
Okay, so
going on
you're
about.
trying to say okay. So just to be clear, I am going to differentiate sex and gender because
Okay.
I can substantiate that they're different things. But and maybe that's a
You think
conversation you
gender and you think gender and sex? No, let's have this conversation.
okay.
You think gender and sex are different things?
Correct.
I don't think they are.
Okay. So
I think you have male and female or guy and girl. That's about it.
okay. Yeah.
Occasionally there are people who are born with like different chromosomes, but at
Yeah,
the end of
so
the
I'm
day,
going to
you have
different. I
male.
agree there are male and female. I also agree that there's intersex, but that's not really super pertinent for this conversation. For the most part,
Okay.
99% of the time, it's male and female. I don't disagree with that. I'm not trying to say trans women are females. What I'm trying to say, trans women
Okay.
are women, a category of women. There's cis women
I
and there's trans
mean,
women. And
they
what is
can.
so to me, what is
Okay.
a woman is somebody who performs actions and takes on certain attitudes that are typically associated with an adult
With
female.
the Yeah, okay. So they can act like that. I have no problem with that.
Yes, but I
They
would
can
argue that that's what we consider to be a woman. If I take a male that looks very feminine and
I have
to
I have
all other
friends.
people they
Oh,
look
not
feminine, effectively to society that is a woman. Because everybody will treat that person as a woman. Everybody will do that. You don't walk around checking people's chromosomes or their genitals. You look at the way that they look, the way that they dress, the way that they walk, the way that they talk, and then and then that's what gender is. That's what I
okay.
consider to be gender.
So what about the dudes who are act feminine and they are clearly dudes? They still act feminine. They don't have like wigs on and all this other stuff, but they're clearly feminine. Like, are you
Yeah, so
gonna classify them as a
this is
girl?
where I bridge off and I would say out of personal respect for the people, if you are making an attempt to fall into you're making serious attempt to fall into that umbrella of the actions typically associated with an adult female or
Hmm.
the look and stuff like that of an adult female, I would refer
Yeah,
to you that way if that's how you want to be referred to. If you're actually trying to do it,
yeah.
but if you're
I
like
will
somebody like
refer
me
to
or
them.
like
Obviously, I'm not
I'm
gonna
like
disrespect
I'm a
people in
woman
public.
and I'm just doing it essentially for no reason. I'm just like I'm a woman. I have no real attempt to do anything that is associated with things that women do, then yeah, no. At that point,
No,
you're
no,
probably just
like
doing it for attention.
no. And at the same time, like I will respect people. Like I said, if they want to identify as that, that's perfectly fine. It doesn't bother me. But at the end of the day, we have this and that. This like we
Well, I
can't.
don't disagree. We have male and female, but gender is an entirely different thing. Whether you think
What?
gender is sex or not does not disagree with the claim that gender is objectively a different thing. Where does it say that females have long nails, long hair, wear dresses, have purses, wear heels, have frills,
Okay, so
speak
this
more
is where I
feminine or
disagree
more
again.
submissive? Where does it say genetically that they have to do that?
Okay, no, no, I'm not even talking about all that you're going on about.
Okay, so
This is where we
that's
disagree
what we would
because
typically refer
no,
to as gender.
no. That's not what I think. Sex and gender is the same thing. They're just different names for the same thing.
Yeah,
I
I
can call
understand that's what you're
water
saying.
agua, like I can call water so many different names, but at the end of the day, it's still water,
Yeah,
right?
and what
Gender
I'm
and sex is
saying,
the
the
same
description
thing.
that I'm using for gender and that most people use for gender It objectively exists. So whether you call it gender or not is up to you. But this is the way that the word is used, not only academically, but also just by a lot of people colloquially. So
Okay, so if
again,
I
if you don't
look
want
up
to
a
use the word
gender,
gender, you have to make up a different word. But this concept objectively exists.
well, yeah, the concept exists, but
Yeah. So,
gender
and the
and sex
name
is the
I call
same
it is
thing.
gender, and the name that academics call it is gender.
I don't understand what you're saying that gender and sex are different. It's the same thing.
It's because when we walk around and we look at somebody and we say that is a woman, we're not looking at the chromosomes, we're not looking at their genitals, we're looking at maybe secondary sex characteristics, we're
Okay,
looking at the
I
way
see
that
what
they
you're.
talk, the way that they walk. I'm sorry, did you say that's not true?
No, 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 no. I see what you're going on about. You're saying that since I define this person as that gender because I laid eyes on them, or I'm walking down the street and I saw a girl or a guy, and I'm like, oh, well, that's clearly a dude, or that's clearly a girl. That's their gender. But at the same time, I
No,
still
what I'm
think
saying is that's a thing. We describe that, I'll say we as in me and then the academic community, describe that as gender, right? Is this idea that there are certain things, attitudes, stuff that people do. I shouldn't say just take all of academia there. I'll just say me. I define this as gender.
that's fine. It says okay, so I asked ChatGPT. ChatGPT said gender refers to socially constructed roles, behaviors, expressions, identities, while sex tip. Okay, so according to ChatGPT, you might be a little bit right.
Yes, and I would say
According
that
to the
that is
AI,
more of the academic understanding as well.
just, dude, that's so weird to me.
I understand that's weird. Like I said, and I've said this multiple times before, it is a very interesting thought experiment for people because it is totally alien to how a lot of us grew up. I didn't even know the concept. Not even I. It's not that I didn't know a trans person in my
Yeah, we
personal
all
life.
knew.
I didn't
Yeah,
know
yeah.
the concept of being trans was a thing until I was 18 years old. That wasn't even a
Well,
concept of a thing.
that's kind of late, but
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know how old are you? I'm not trying to like.
I'm 25. I'm
Okay,
25.
so I'm like 27, so we're not like crazy far or anything. So like,
No.
I didn't even know the concept of being a separate gender outside of what you were assigned at birth was a thing until I was 18. Um, and when I heard about it, it was very conflicting. It's like, does this make sense? Does this make sense? But it fit kind of well with my understanding of the world and the way that I kind of logically constructed things. It's like, oh yeah, this does make sense. There's nothing
Yeah, it
intrinsically that
makes
says,
it
yeah,
does
yeah.
make a little bit of sense, but at the same time, the way I was raised is that it's kind of the same in my head.
Yeah, no, I mean,
So
that's my point. Is it in your head for probably over a decade, possibly more than one? It is identical. They're the same thing. Your gender is your sex is your gender. I don't disagree with that.
yeah,
But what I'm saying is that, sorry, I don't disagree with that being the way that it was when we grew up. But then there's like a new challenging idea, which challenged the way that we grew up and the way that we understood the world, that is, in my opinion, it more holistically fits my understanding of the world and allows me to, at very bare minimum, like just understand how things work like better. Like it fits everything more seamlessly.
yeah,
And
it
so,
does for
yeah.
some people. Now, I don't know. For most people, maybe I don't know. I don't know. It's still weird, but I see what you're saying. When I read it like this, expressions, constructed roles, behaviors, identities, or whatever, and then sex is like completely different. Yeah, I see, or biological. Like I see what they're talking about, but I just is it fake? Like
Is it
how
what?
like is it fake, dude? Like
Fake?
yeah, is it fake?
Yeah, I mean, gender is a social construct. It is literally made by
It is
us.
a
There is
social
nothing
yeah.
biologically saying that women have to wear dresses. But I mean, a lot of people think it's
You're
cool for
right.
women to wear dresses. I
Uh,
think women look kind of pretty in dresses sometimes. You know,
yeah, me
like,
too.
yeah, I'm not
All right,
particularly
I
accustomed
don't
to
want to
men
do this
wearing
gender
dresses,
thing. I don't want
but
to do this gender thing anymore.
right,
What's the
okay.
next topic? I don't want to do this anymore.
Okay.
because you're right. You won that one. But all right. So like, what's the next one?
I don't know. What else do you disagree? I mean, what else do you? We were on. What do you think Trump does well? And then you brought up the sexes. Is there anything else you think Trump did that was good?
Okay, I can tell you what I think Trump did bad.
Okay. I mean, I guess we'll probably agree on that. But
Okay, so I think that he shouldn't have said that he was going to get rid of the people who are born in the states,
mhm.
but their parents are illegal. I think that's kind of messed up because if you look at the amendment, it says if you're born here, you stay here, essentially, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, so we can agree on that.
yeah, we can
I
agree
really
on
have
that.
no yeah, I don't know. You won, bro. I have no other like if you want to give me something to work with, I don't know too much. If you give me something, I can work with it. But right now, you kind
I
of blew
mean,
my mind with this
it's
gender and
like
sex
whatever
stuff.
you. I mean, I maybe there is something that you could bring up that I would agree with Trump on, but pretty much anything that you agree with Trump on, I'm probably just
Okay,
statistically going to
how about
disagree.
this? Okay, how about this? What do
Yeah.
you think about tariffs?
Oh yeah, I don't think tariffs. Well, I should be specific. If we're really going to get into it, I don't think generalized tariffs are good, and I think economists agree with that. You can
What
have
about
specific.
reciprocal tariffs?
Yeah, no, I don't, that's incredibly retarded. And the
Why are
reason,
why are reciprocal tariffs retarded? I
right?
think
So
if someone charges me taxes, we should charge them taxes, right?
yeah, so the reason why is because there's going to be certain things that I'm good at and certain things you're good at. Let's say you're
You're
America
right.
and I'm Canada.
Yeah.
Let's say
They
that you're
make
really
good maple syrup.
yeah, yeah.
I'm just
So
joking.
I make good maple syrup, right? But I can't
Yeah.
put out maple syrup at the rate that you can, right? And so I might put up a tariff on maple syrup from you so that way I can protect domestic production of maple syrup. However, you might look at this and go, hey, I need to put up a reciprocal tariff on maple syrup. Well, why? It's not like you're trying to make maple syrup that competes with mine. So why would you do that? You get
Well,
the benefit.
well,
Go ahead.
I thought I'm under the impression that tariffs are not just on a certain product; it's on the entire country as a whole. Like whatever's
That's
going
that's
in,
not that's
we're
not correct.
taxing whatever's going out. Is
That's
that
not
am I
correct.
wrong?
Yes,
That's not
that's not
correct.
correct.
So
It's
so
on
tariffs
specific
are on
goods.
certain like specific goods.
Mhm.
So like steel and all this
Correct. So
steel
that's
talk.
why you
They
see them in the media. It's like 25% tariff on aluminum from China, 25 or
yeah,
50% tariff on this from there. Like as an example, a bit of
so it's on
misinformation
specific
that
goods.
yeah, and another thing is that there's some misinformation that Trump put out about rates of tariffs as well, which is
Mhm.
that Trump said that there's like a 250% tariff on I think it was dairy from Canada. And I heat checked this because I was like, okay, that's pretty steep. Let me look that up. If you actually look it up, this isn't entirely accurate. Well, technically true. There is a 250% tariff on dairy
Which is ridiculous.
for care, but it's of a specific amount, right? So they're like, hey,
Oh,
we
okay.
can
So there's a
import,
specific amount. Okay.
yeah. So up to this, let's say it's way more than this, 100 gallons, just as an example. After a
Okay.
100 gallons of milk or dairy, we
The tariffs
will
go down.
tax you at 250%. And not
Oh,
only that,
after
but if
that
you,
and much. Okay, so they
yes,
give us 100 gallons, then we start taxing them
then
more.
we start taxing them. Or
I
sorry,
thought
they
that
start
was
taxing
after,
us.
or they start taxing us.
Yes, they would, well, they would start, well, more specifically, yeah, we would
I thought
pay the
that
tariff.
they okay. So like I thought we would get the 100 gallons, and then anything more than that, we're gonna have to tax them on it because
No, no,
we
it's
obviously
the
need
other
the
way around.
product.
Canada has a tariff on us. So if our companies send them over 100 gallons of dairy,
Mhm.
that on the 101st gallon of dairy, the people who import it in Canada have to pay 250% tariff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying
So,
now.
but the thing is, we don't get at that point or exceed that point. We don't. It often, I think it was maybe with specifically milk, we don't even get to half of it, or we get to about half of it. We don't
I don't
even get
even
to
know why
100
we
gallons, we get
need
to
to
50.
import milk anyways. We shouldn't have to import milk because we have the most cows, I'm pretty sure, out of like most of the world.
Well, I wouldn't know necessarily why we would import milk. Maybe they make a specific type of saucy milk, or why. Sorry, it's the other way around. They're importing the milk, right?
Okay,
Why
yeah.
so maybe like yeah, and they want to
We have the
protect their
most
domestic
talent.
production, so they're only allowing in a specific amount.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense. So we're taxing them, they're taxing us. It's all messed up.
Well, that would be, do you understand then why we wouldn't do reciprocal tariffs? Because they want to protect their domestic production of dairy. Why would we make it harder for for us to buy their stuff
Okay,
if
when you put it that way, the reason why,
Mhm.
and like I said, I'm not agreeing with this, but the reason why I think that we're doing this is because we kind of want Canada. Like, I mean, let's be
well, I
honest.
mean, we're not only doing it to Canada, right? We're doing it to Mexico, China, and the
We
EU.
also want Mexico. Let's be honest. We can
Okay,
be for
China and
two
the
states.
EU.
Oh well, China's been messing us up for years. All
Well,
right,
yeah, this is an
years.
argument about reciprocal tariffs, though. I'm communicating to you why reciprocal tariffs are not like a good thing.
Yeah, they're not. I mean, I still think they're decent to a certain extent because, like, if you charge me, I should charge you, right?
No, it all depends on what is the effects of the tariff, right? The effect, you would put a tariff on a country because you want to protect domestic production or domestic prices from having the market be flooded with this product or something like that at a specific part or amount. You want to protect domestic manufacturing, or you want to keep certain things at a specific price. And at the end of the day, the consumers are the ones who pay that price, right? The importer buys it, then the cost gets pushed onto the consumer.
All
So
right, so reciprocal tariffs are completely bad. Should we have any tariffs? Do you think at least some tariffs are good?
I could see a use case for, and this is the contrast into what I was saying earlier, specialized tariffs, right? So for instance, with semiconductors, right? So Joe Biden put into place a fantastic act where he bolstered domestic production of semiconductors in the event that semiconductor domestic manufacturing is insufficient to be able to properly meet the demand necessary for that. We might need to look at specialized tariffs for that. I would personally support instead just doing more of what the CHIPS Act did, which is giving tax incentives and stimulating the domestic economy for semiconductors over tariffs. But if tariffs were deployed in that instance, I wouldn't be entirely against it.
You don't think so? Why should we do? Wait a second. You're talking about semiconductors. I think semiconductors should be built in the U.S. I'm sick and tired of buying semiconductors from a different country. You're talking
Sorry,
about
was that a
tariffs.
statement?
Yeah,
Say
yeah,
again?
yeah. Yes, it's a statement. Semiconductors should be built in the U.S. They shouldn't be built in a different country.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean that's what I mean. Joe Biden agrees with that. That's he did an act to be able to
Well,
stimulate that.
okay.
And
Jesus
actually,
Christ,
as a
bro.
matter of fact, Trump is trying to take credit and has routinely tried to take credit for semiconductor manufacturing entering the United States when it was Biden's
I think
CHIP
I'm
Act.
losing this conversation.
I wouldn't look at this as losing or winning. I don't think that does either one of us any good to look at. I think if you look at conversations like this as losing or winning, I think you're more likely to take like a stance where you just are like unyielding and not open
No,
to
I
the
don't
other
have a
person.
stance.
And to
I
be
just
clear, you
know, like,
haven't done
I
that.
came in here.
Yeah,
No,
to
I
be clear,
came
you
in
haven't
here
done that.
trying to. Yeah, I came in here to try and like see if I was smarter than you, but you obviously know your politics a little bit more than I do, which
Hmm.
is kind of annoying. But at the same time, I have to respect it. So
Hmm. Yeah, so that would be
yeah,
that would be my argument about why semiconductor manufacturing, or sorry, reciprocal tariffs are not good. Specialized tariffs, again, we want to protect some domestic production. We do.
yeah, we
We
do.
want to protect some elements, and I agree with that, and I support that. Protecting domestic production of goods and stuff like that is really important.
Okay, so what about this other thing that you were saying?